freak.
You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Broadcasting live from the Temple of Freedom, the Social Contact Club in Kingman, Arizona. Italian by birth, American by choice. Soft rider, poet, author, freedom fighter, self-defense instructor, ordained minister, founder of the Religion of Freedom. Here he is, Brother John Lucas.
We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us.
Here we are. Here we are. This is Luca Zanna, and we are webcasting right now from the Temple of Freedom, located in Kingman, Arizona, the Social Contact Club, located 3001 Stockton Hill Road, Kingman, Arizona. It's been a long time, more than, I almost think, 3 years. I don't know, very close to that, since I was on the air. Today, it's a continuation of a journey. The journey started exactly about 10 years ago on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. I remember the day when the late Dave Hayes, the former owner of the station, invited me on the air while I was at the time, not only challenging Mojave County in federal court for violation of freedom of speech, but also when I created this new, I don't know, philosophy, religion, permits just my lifestyle. I called it the Religion of Freedom. And I started to post on Facebook, one of my first posts at the time, about me dressed as a monk and the founder of the Religion of Freedom. I truly believe that, by the way. I wasn't trying to make fun of anyone. But Dave Ace thought that I was making fun and kind of be, I don't know, smart ass, something like that. So he invited me on the air. And I still remember the day. I drove all the way down to Needle. It was a beautiful day, by the way. Kind of fun, you know. Dave was a great guy. Even when we didn't agree on stuff, we had a great time. And of course, there was also another great friend, late Frank Costigan. He was there. And I remember the day I made some made bread. I brought some wine and, dressed as a monk, I went on the air and I broke wine and I broke bread. I don't think you can break wine, but I drank wine. I did. I don't think they drank anything because it was behind the console. Anyway, the point at the time was that after the show, they thought that I was crazy enough that somehow he offered me my talk radio show on the air on K-Talks. And I was kind of surprised, I must tell you, for many reasons. First of all, my English is not great now, even 22 years in the country, but for sure, 10 years ago was even a little worse. And I said to myself and to Dave, people cannot even understand me. And he said, don't worry about it, we'll be fine. So anyway, it was a great ride. I had a chance to really learn a lot, and more important, to exercise my belief, the religion of freedom, on the air. And the new owner of the station, Mr. Steve Rubin, has been great. I mean, he gave me the chance to continue the same path, the same journey with no interference. And I tell you, Steve is a great guy. I tell you, I think we believe a lot in the same things. I think probably we believe almost in the same things. But beside that, even if we don't, he always gave me free range. He never told me what to say, what can I say. Even when I was really going through very challenging topics, talking about politicians, stuff that normally in Europe you would be shut down, you would be arrested, you would be probably even shot. Okay. Mr. Rubin was always behind me on everything. I was amazed and humble and very grateful. And then, of course, about 3 years ago, something like that, I don't even know the times anymore. I lose count. Life, all the challenges, family, business, time is always short. So I could not enjoy anymore doing the show like I used to. And I had to say, sorry, I had to stop. And I know the station, K Talks, is being rebroadcasting many of my shows. And I have still people calling me, send me an email, say, wow, I listen on the air. And I say, I'm not on the air anymore, but that's great. Thank you. I'm humble and grateful. Today you say, why are you back here? What's going on? Well, let me tell you what's going on. This vision of the religion of freedom that started more than 10 years ago Today it became official, or at least not just today, but in the last few months, maybe the last year, I really made it like part of my official life. So much that now today I'm an ordained minister. I can also celebrate weddings. That's right. Yes. And also, we are here. I'm here exactly, sitting and broadcasting and webcasting from a real religious temple. The Social Contact Club in Kingman, Arizona, it is not just a private club, but it is a religious club. You can compare it to any type of temple, synagogue, church. Think about it, whatever you believe, that's the same, because this is America. We don't have the official religion and the other one, they're just some knockoff. Your religion can be official to yourself and for people like you who believe in that. And that's why we are here. So let me spell it out a little bit exactly what we do and what is our belief, because this is going to be the name of the show. The show is going to be the religion of freedom, directly broadcasting from the Social Contact Club, the Temple of Freedom. Right. So the religion of freedom, and this is the same thing I said to Dave Ace more than 10 years ago. It's the belief that unite human beings from different religions, from different beliefs. You can also be an atheist if you want. The only thing we ask, your religion, your belief, must be respectful to others. And I don't want to go now into details, but you can get a hint, okay? If you listen to my show in the past, you know where I stand. There are some religions that I really don't give you a free pass. If your book tells you that you must chop my head or force me in conversion by coercion, we have a problem. This is not your place. So this is the bottom line. You can have your own religion, your relationship with your God, gods, or goddesses, or whatever. You can be just an agnostic. I don't care. I'm not here to save your soul. I'm not here to judge you. That's your personal thing. But I tell you, all we ask, that we are united under the common belief of freedom, we respect each other, and we have some very simple but powerful scriptures that we somehow get inspired from. And these are the Declaration of Independence. Because the idea that all humans are created equal is something powerful that is part of our common belief. And also, government cannot give you any rights. It cannot even take away any rights. These rights are already inside you. And more important, that we all have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Exactly the opposite of what now governments around the world are doing. This is not just an American government. When it comes down to abortion, giving billions of dollars to not just create abortion, in America, 9 months, and they can still kill you. Seriously about this is almost unbelievable. It's bad enough when you're 3 months, but imagine when you are ready to go out or you're already just born. They can kill you now because it's the law. Think about it. The same law that, you could have killed a Jew, or at the same time, you could have put a black man in a camp. Not because it's a law means it's right. So, but we are now in America at this point. There is no more right to life. And this is not just works only for the innocent unborn, but also for the elderly. If you're over 60, you're nuisances. You're baggage. You are kind of you don't deserve to be around. And I'm not saying that to be funny. It is true. Look now in the medical system, especially if you go under the Obamacare or this public health care, look in Europe. I mean, I got my mom in Italy still there. This is not just Italy, it's everywhere. They want to get rid of the population. They will start from, first of all, the unborn, because they cannot defend themselves. And then, of course, look at the people that they are still kind of weak, the elderly, especially when they're alone. They have no family. Oh, they will be the first to go. Don't even get me going with conspiracies, but look what happened in New York with the governor, Cuomo. He knew when you have the situation to put all these people locked down with coronavirus, there was a slaughterhouse. But that's another story. So life, liberty. Now we go to liberty, exactly the opposite of what government is doing to us. They try to constrain us in behind the mask just for a mind game, because this, after all, it's the first form of conditioning. If they can tell you that you have to wear a dirty cloth, doesn't matter the science, and even just reading, you don't need to be a doctor. Buy a box of this face mask, and they will tell you, the manufacturer will tell you and states that this mask will not stop a virus. Meanwhile, they tell you if you don't wear the mask, you're going to go to jail now. This is not a fake news. This is true. Public transportation, according to the new Biden regime, if you don't wear a mask, you can go and get a felony charge. Think about it. So life is gone, liberty is gone. Guess what? Now they want also go happiness. They don't want you happy. They want you miserable. They want you completely alone, isolated in your home. No more fun, especially when they take all your money away. And that's where we're going to. How can you have fun? Can you even enjoy anymore to travel? You will see now. So that's the point. That's why I decided after the last 3 years to come back on the air, because I wanted to share with you the new journey of the religion of freedom from the Social Contact Club and the things and the activities that we do. We are truly also a religious temple. We not only am an ordained minister, but also we are private club. That means this is not open for the public. The reason why I wanted to create this sort of a safe haven for like-minded people is because the idea that we can be here and celebrate our belief without interferences. We are protected not just from our, by our First Amendment, of course, our Second Amendment, of course, but also from the Supreme Court ruling, the latest Supreme Court ruling, when it comes down to religious clubs and churches being exempt to comply with all these fascistic ordinances or executive orders from governor or local municipality when it comes down to social distancing and mask and all this other nonsense. If you come to the religious club here, our social contact club, think about the name, social contact. We are not afraid to shake hands. We are not afraid to play around, to be close to each other, to interact with each other. We don't wear masks and we don't comply with all that crap. So much that I wanted to be sure that no government bureaucrats can interfere with our religious functions and ceremonies. So I don't have any licenses to sell alcohol because we don't sell anything. I don't even sell you a glass of water. You bring your own beer, you bring your wine, you can bring your coffee. So the health department in Mojave County can truly kiss my ass. Our ass, not just mine. And I mean it. And I'm not even shy about it. You have no right to come here, interfere, and destroy our lives like you've been doing to many other business out there with nonsense. Nonsense. Not only this coronavirus has a mortality rate probably less than the flu, but before even we go there, you tell me that at 6 feet the virus is safe, but 5 point, I don't know, something, the virus is dangerous. You walk around with a tape measure. I mean, that's insanity right there. If you truly believe that virus is so deadly, everybody must lock themselves in their homes with a NBC mask, not with this paper mask. Number two, you tell me that I can go in a restaurant, and when I walk into the restaurant or in the gym, I need to wear the mask, the useless Chinese piece of garbage mask, when I walk around. But when I sit down in the restaurant, I'm okay without mask, and I can use my dirty hands to shove food in my mouth, and everything's fine. This is like to say to a child, the little game of Simon Says. Simon Says, get a finger, shove it in your nose, and the other one into your ear. Why am I doing that? Because Simon says. This is the same story what government has been doing to us. And more important, been shutting down businesses, deciding who has the right to live, who has the right to die. We are all essential. For me to have a bureaucrat, like an health department director or some county supervisor, even elected, I don't care, who has really their fat belly full and their pocket wallet full of our tax dollar, the overpriced check that they get from us, and they can tell us, you cannot work, you need to stay home and wait till we say so. Meanwhile, your business that you fought so hard to put it together, your sacrifices, your retirement, all your savings burned because some idiot out there think has the audacity and the presumption to and the arrogance to tell you that they can do that, they can say that. Let me tell you something. Since all this nonsense started in Mojave County with the shutdown of the gyms, I never complied. And I was even shy about it. Let me tell you also the address where I am. The Social Contact Club is also the same location of my official first business that is also the Temple of Self-Defense. It's not just a business, and it's called Kingman Force on Force. What I do here, I train in self-defense. Self-defense is an essential part to freedom. Correct. I'm not here as San Francis of Assisi, okay? I'm not here like Jesus Christ, slap you on the face, I turn my other cheek. Sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect you. That's your belief. If you slap me on the face, I'll give you a punch to the nose at least, and I'll break your legs. Start with that. So the belief that freedom must be defended with knowledge, first of course, by somebody physically try to assault me and infringe on my rights, I will die if I have to defend my rights. So that's what I do here at the Kingdom Force on Force. I'm a black belt instructor of Krav Maga, certified in Israel. And maybe you heard one of my latest show was from Israel. So the point is, I'm trying to say, during all this shutdown, with all the other gyms in the county that were shut down, I was here operating, and I was sending videos to the city, mayor, county attorney, anybody I could, that I'm here open, and I never said I was going to comply with you guys. And I challenge you, come and shut me down. I also remind you, this is the temple. This is not a public place. So we are protected from your evil, from many things. One of the first thing, First Amendment. I remind you that. I will challenge you in court. Number two, we also have a Supreme Court case now that completely validate what I just told you. Now, the Social Contact Club is the next step. It is not just a place where we do self-defense, but also a place where we enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yes, we talk about life. They want us dead. Liberty, they want us slaves. And now, what about happiness? As I said before, they want you alone, isolated, broke, depressed. And I want the opposite. I want people here, like-minded people, having the opportunity to have fun, celebrating life, celebrating with music, with games, interacting, and also helping each other and doing business. I believe in free market. So if you have a trade, something to sell, something to offer, of course, we don't do anything here, but you can network with each other and you can really, hopefully, prosper. Because after all, freedom is the most important element to prosperity. Without freedom, there is nothing. You can, rebuild a house. You can rebuild everything. But without freedom, you cannot rebuild a nation. You cannot rebuild what we are. Everything can be destroyed, but with freedom, we can rebuild it. And that's what we need to gain again. So if you want to come and join us, let me tell you something, how it works here. This is not for everyone. This is not a public place. This is not a bar. We don't even sell anything. First of all, we don't have any license because I don't want to be subjected to, begging for a license, first of all. And then, of course, when I get a license, especially from the health department, they can come here and harass the hell out of me and shut me down. Guess what? No way. That's why we're here. We're a safe place from all this evil. If you want to, you can bring your own drinks, you can bring your beer, you can bring your wine, you can bring your coffee. So we bypass all the garbage with licensing. That's very important. And at this point, I would like to tell you, if you are a person who agrees in the principles that I just told you, the common belief of freedom, the Declaration of Independence, and of course, the rights enunciated in the Bill of Rights, I welcome you as a brothers and sisters. If you're a person that, this is not about left or right or, Republican or Democrats, for me, they're all crooks now. But let me tell you something. I want to be very specific. If you voted for Biden, you have no place here. Black and white, because you're too stupid to even believe that what's going on is real. And I have no time to try to convince a rock to become, a fish. I'm not the type of, I don't do miracles. I don't create wine out of water. You are fluoridated water, you stay water for me. Stay out of here. So that's the bottom line. But for the rest, you don't need to agree with me on everything. All I ask you to respect each other and, of course, have this principle that I just told you. Now, if you want to come, you can come, of course, but first shoot me an email, or even better, go to the website, socialcontactclub.com. If you're on Facebook, you can find us on Facebook. And I say, please, may I join the club? And I say, more than welcome. Let me talk to you. And We want to be sure that we are here and we have a nice environment that we can enjoy each other. The same time, we will broadcast and we will webcast from this location every Saturday on YouTube. You can go to socialcontactclub.com to see the show live. And also, of course, the show will be rebroadcast on the air. This is the opportunity for you to also come at during the recording and the live webcast to interact. If you want to say something, this is your microphone. If you want to share difference of opinion from me, that's more than fine. I don't want to be right. I don't want to always be the right person, honestly. I don't care. I just want to be sure, as I said, even in our differences of opinions, at least we respect each other and we have the same concept I just told you. But for the rest, I want you here. You have questions, this is your place. So we're going to share together what? The principle of freedom will apply now more than ever. That's why I decided to go back on the air. Think about it. Um, we're going to live, and we're already living in very historical times. Whatever we had the last 10 years was nothing. We had a little bit of a break under Trump. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Republican, but for sure, compared for what we have now, Trump was a Boy Scout. Trump was a saint compared what these evil bastards they're planning for us. Trump wasn't perfect, but let me tell you, he tried at least to slow down, even as a just person. Because after all, you realize, I was always conflicted about him. I wasn't sure about him. But, he tried to put a couple of attorney generals out there, and all of them pretty much stabbed him in the back. And at the end, I need to tell you something, I was still not sure what is going on. It's going to be part of the bigger setup. They destroyed the man. They tried to kill the man, not just physically, but also, in every way, his family. So I truly believe Trump, even with all imperfection, he was trying to slow down this evil upon us. Now there is nothing really but us and them. And this will be not just a concept that is abstract somewhere there. Let me tell you how you like it when gasoline is going to be $10 a gallon. If you think I'm kidding, let me tell you something. Not even 60 days, it's already now $5 in California, average in Los Angeles. And already a dollar up here in Arizona. This is just the beginning. How do you like when you go, maybe we're going to go World War III with the rest of the world? China, Russia, who knows? Mr., Democrat, the peace-loving bomber, he just dropped a few bombs in Syria the other day. How do you like that? These Democrats, I really have no respect for you. I have more integrity if I talk with at least a declared communist Marxist, tells me on my face he wants to take my stuff and he wants to kill me for that. That's fine. At least I know where you stand. You still believe that, your man is going to be the most, I don't know, reasonable, sensitive, or whatever garbage you believe. I mean, we're going to war here. Talking about if you are blue collar, you're on paycheck, you're going to decide tonight if you're going to have dinner or pay for your gas tank. And many, many more things now. This is just the beginning. Not even 8 hours in the job. 80,000 people lost their job with this pipeline from Canada. Think about it. Meanwhile, you still drive cars. I don't think you're going by horses or by camel out there, Democrats, right? So be ready to buy the same terrible, disgusting oil that we used to get from Canada for very cheap. Now we're going to get it, the same disgusting, terrible oil from Saudi Arabia, 10 times the price. So that's why you don't deserve to be here. You're too stupid. That's my point. This is my humble opinion. I don't care if you like it or not. So anyway, we're going to be back on the air, and I would like to keep talking about news, and more important, not just about repeating things that we already know. We know how things are so bad. Sometimes it's good to remember, though, more details, but also how to prepare, how to find solutions. I can tell myself all day long that we are ready to implode. We know that. But the point is, what are you going to do? How are you going to prepare yourself? And also how to enjoy life meanwhile. Because if you're already miserable and depressed, you're already lost. You already won. There is an expression, I don't know if it's a proverb, but one thing that I remember my grandfather used to tell me, one of the best way to revenge against your enemy is to live well. Exactly. They want us miserable? Well, let's be happy. They want us depressed, let's be up. They want us broke, let's prosper. Let's resist. And this is the spirit of the show. This is the spirit of the religion of freedom, especially here at the Social Contact Club. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about news, events, but also local facts. A lot of things happening in Mother County, things that are very important, like, people stealing our water. And I'm talking about just some people. We're talking about corporations that they are ready to sucking us dry. And you think it's something that is not going to touch you today. Guess what? 10 years, 15 years from now, you may be surprised how this can become a desert for real. If there is no more water on the ground, guess what? There is no life. So this is one of the things I really want to talk about it. Also about local elections. We live in the city of Kingman. A lot of things happening here. We have a recall going on. This mask ordeal is going to be very, very important because we are the kind of the tip of the iceberg of the resistance. I truly believe that. I'm not trying to be so full of myself, but a lot of good people around here, they've been fighting for many years. And doesn't take a majority to expose evil. Even just a handful of people, they can make a difference. I truly believe that. To say the truth, you don't need to have a group of people. How you say in English? A choir, whatever. You don't need an orchestra. One person can say the truth. Now, doesn't need to be even me on the show. You can say your own truth. Writing letters to the editor, talking to your friends, or going to a county supervisor meeting or the next city council meeting. So that's my point. I want to inspire, encourage everybody we can to do the right part. Because maybe this is exactly what we are here for. Sometimes I wonder myself, what am I doing here? I mean, we are stuck in this hell. I believe in hell. This is hell for me. But why? Sometimes it's so overwhelming, everything. You're just a regular person. Say, what can I do? Maybe you cannot change the world, but maybe you can do what you can in your daily life. And at the point, the first thing you should be able to do is to speak up, not being afraid. Because when you see a crime being perpetrated in front of your eyes, let's say tonight you're driving, you see an old lady being beaten up on the ground by a bad guy. Okay, if you just drive by, you say nothing, you're still responsible. Not because you didn't do the crime means that you're innocent. You had a chance at least to help, even just to yell and say, hey, stop right there. Of course, you could go out and beat the crap out of the bad guy. That's another story, but at least to speak up. Same story here. If we know that all this evil is happening and we don't say something, one day we'll be judged. I believe it. From wherever God or gods you believe. That's your story. I'm not going to tell you what to believe, but I believe that one day this karma will stay with us for eternity. And that's why I think it's so important that we do what we can, even in our daily life, even in our little county or city or town, doesn't matter, or neighborhood. Sorry. So anyway, now we're here tonight. I'm here and been talking enough. I see a couple of my friends, brothers, that they're here, and I have one guy that has been one of my first new converts. I'm kidding. I'm not converting anybody. But anyway, he's a great guy. His name is Ian. He's from Golden Valley. And I want just to say hi. Tonight it's not informal. We're not going to have any special topic. It's just introducing where we at, what we do, and more important, what's going to be the spirit of the show. Ian, would you like to come here for a second, please? All right. I'm going to share with you my microphone tonight, okay? So I'm going to keep it simple. Just keep it like that. And here we go. This is Ian from Golden Valley. Here we go.
Hey, Luca. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Ian. So tell me something a little bit. When did you? I remember the first night you came to the gates of our temple, and I was there.
Yes.
And what brought you here? I mean, after all, how did you find about us?
I just thought it looked interesting, and I drove by and I saw it a few days before you opened, and I thought it was a really nice idea.
All right, good. So you were just curious, and of course, we talked a little bit. Remember, I was talking with you at least 20 minutes outside.
Yeah, we were conversing and we were getting it, we were going back and forth, and you seemed like a pleasant person. So it was fun to, meet somebody with the same mindset.
And as I said, I didn't know about you, and I didn't know all your beliefs. All I know that you were a polite guy and a smart guy. You don't need to say much, but and and I say you're welcome. And I was really happy that we met, and we had a great time here. I know you also served in the army, Ian, right?
Yes, I did.
So you took an oath, the oath to defend this republic against all enemies. Am I right?
Yes, I took an oath.
And this oath has no expiration date.
Yeah, there's no expiration date.
Very good. So I took an oath similar to yours. I didn't serve in the army, but when I became a citizen, and that's what I like about people like you, because we are now facing the challenge that no matter how, we need to do our part. And as I said before, maybe we don't need to go out and necessarily throw rocks at anybody, but just even speaking up, not being afraid to point evil out. That's, I think, is the first part of what should be our duty as a people who love America and also took the oath to defend this republic.
You have to take an oath. I mean, you have to stand for something.
Yeah, and of course,
Even if you don't take an oath, even if you never took an oath, you should really try to stand up for something that's going to be worthwhile because our way of life is at stake.
exactly. I mean, very good point. You don't need to be a former soldier or military to expose evil. Every one of us. I don't care if you're man, woman, or between. Even if you're not born in this country, just because you came here, when you see evil, you're supposed to stand for good. That's the point. But even more, people like you, they were soldiers. That oath wasn't just some sort of a formality. It was a very important foundation of the structure of this republic. Because everyone really fulfilled the oath. We're going to have some way that we can check and balance corruption. We can check and balance tyranny. We can check and balance all the things they're doing to us. Now, unfortunately, many of our elected officials and also people in the service, talking about top brass, they completely disregard the oath. They completely laugh at that. And that's the problem that we have. The Constitution and can work only when you have moral people that they want to be able to uphold, the principle and the oath. If people are a bunch of crooks, you can tell them all the odds they want. They will eventually just laugh at us. So anyway, that's the story. I want to give you the microphone, 3 minutes, whatever you want to say. I'm not gonna even just I know you're a very polite guy, but I always remind that we may be on the air with this. We have some FCC regulations. Do not just use words like cuss and things like that. You never do that anyway. That's not your case. But just to be a reminder for everyone.
Thanks for having me on, Luca. And I just wanted to say that there's a lot of strange things going on nowadays, and just a lot of people arguing and trying to figure out what's happening. And there's a lot of issues with the economy and in politics, and with the election, how it was basically it was a people have a idea that it was taken away from Trump, and then Biden strolled in for somehow they got the election. And it's very confusing, nonetheless, to say it's. I don't know. It's the issues we're dealing with now. We didn't deal with. We weren't dealing with when Bush or Gore were trying to win the election or go after. In Florida with the how it was basically kind of like they said the election was rigged back then, and Bush waltzed in, and then a few years later we had the war with Iraq, and it's a very much I don't know, it's a really confusing situation, and we got to get down to the bottom of things, and you know, basically, I don't know if it's going to be easy to, but we should try to be able to defend ourselves in our homes, and I don't know if the country is able to be protected if it's been sold out underneath our nose and we don't know about it, because they say that the port down in Long Beach was sold to China, but I grew up watching kung fu movies and Chinese movies, and Jackie Chan, and we've been basically been led to believe that that's what China represents, and there's a good face to China, but they were cruel to the Tibetans. And I watched the movie 7 Years in Tibet not too long ago, about a month or so ago, and they weren't very kind to them.
Give me one second or something.
Sure.
And I'll give you the microphone back. This is not about Chinese people. The Chinese people, like people around the world, there are good people and bad people everywhere. And most of the average person just want to live their life, have their kids and everything else. So they are the same oppression that probably we may have had in the past, and we still have now, by the way, but not ever like what they have. China, since its creation under the revolution, this is not an opinion, this is history, according to books, under Mao Zedong, or Mao Zedong, whatever you want to call him, more than 80 million people, they were murdered by the state. That's a fact. China, it's a regime based on ideology of communism, and communism is based on the principle of force and coercion. It is not a free will principle. The only way communists can stay up for as long as it can be sustainable, of course, is through violence and coercion. So I have nothing against the Chinese people as individuals, especially people that came, immigrated, and ran from their regime, and they wanted to have a better life here. That's great. After all, I came from another country too. But my problem is the ideology that the Chinese government represents. It is not something gray. It's black and white, in my opinion. 80 million people talk for itself. Like in Cambodia, same ideology. Khmer Rouge, 2, 3 million people, they were murdered. So that's the reality that I'm trying to say. The average Chinese person, especially the person that is forced. I mean, remember in China, they have one child policy. If you have a daughter, they will murder it. They will abort it in front of your face. How many families have been destroyed? And people among themselves, they've been put in camps, re-education camps. We're talking about, it's in the news, this stuff, it's out there, raped just because from a different ethnic group. So it is so much. And this is not about the Chinese people. This is about the ideology that unfortunately took over China. Okay. And that's all I want to say. Okay.
Well, how did they get into that predicament to where they're in such a position of power when they're a third world country?
That's a very that's a very good question, by the way. Like in Russia, how did the Bolshevik took over? The revolution in Russia, for example, the Bolshevik revolution, would have lasted more than a winter if it was for the help of the international bankers. There were trains full of gold from bankers from London and New York. The bankers, I'm not talking about the local little bank, I'm talking about the global bankers, the central banks, the private banks. They love communism because communism is pretty much the destruction of every type of competition out there. They guarantee they control. And these people, by the way, they really believe that they want to control humanity. And doesn't matter if it's called communism or called fascism, it's the same type of ideology of coercion. The state is your God. You have no individual rights. So yes, China is the same way. China was helped. China, we've been feeding the dragon the last 40, 50 years. Think about it. Just the military technology that during the Clinton administration was given to China. China would be now a third world country if it wasn't for the information they stole from us or we gave them through people corrupting government and also through the idea that that was part of the plan. So that's not an accident that China now is set on the global stage to become the new empire. Because, as the president of China said last year, he wants to be the leader of the new world order. They used to laugh at this word a few years ago, 15 years ago, when I started to come in the here in Maui County. A few of us we were talking about the new world order and all these things. And then the last few months, few years, it became more and more reality, even mainstream media. So yeah, the global government is here. And the only thing between that was somehow was opposing it or delaying it was Donald Trump at this point. And the fact that now we are back into this Paris Treaty, that it's a scam. I mean, $100 billion to do what? They don't even know what they're doing. The point is, it's just to create a sort of a global poverty, a global dependence on feudalism. That's what it is. They don't want us anymore consume real food. They want us to eat bioproduct of only God knows in some made in some lab. This is not the fake meat that Bill Gates is pushing. At the same time, they give you the GMO vegetables. All this stuff makes you sick and sterile. Where are you going here? All right. Ian is going 1 second somewhere. Maybe it's going outside. So that's the point. That's the agenda. That's what we're going to talk about here. Let's see. I have something to bring me. Let me see what we got here. By the way, we're here broadcasting from the Social Contact Club. Okay. Plant-based protein, non-GMO. Wow. Pea protein. Plant-based ground. Okay, this is called. It's a little label from some sort of a bowl. Plant-based protein, non-GMO, pea protein. Maybe I understand. Some stuff can be also okay. Don't get me wrong. You can get proteins from beans, from seeds. I'm not saying that every
Mushrooms.
yeah mash. The point is one though. When we do, first of all, any type of processed food, because this is a processed food anyway. It is not something you got from nature.
Yep.
Somebody has to process this stuff. You already have a problem. And then, of course, you need to believe what they're saying here, because now every time I start to put something like soy, even it's not GMO, soy itself, it's one of the highest causes of high estrogen in your body. Soy equals estrogens. Now, estrogen means that you become a female. Simple as that. You act like one, you will feel like one, and your body will shape like one. This is not by mistake. This is not an accident that you have all these men that are the blue, they want to become women, they want to dress like women, and all this transsexual stuff. Yes, there is a social brainwashing part of the system, through the media and all this stuff, entertainment. I understand that, making it cool, fine. But the reality also, we are under chemical assault every day. The little plastic bottle of water that you drink, unless it's BPA free, the BPA is an endocrine disruptor and is one of the causes of estrogen, high estrogen in your body. Your meat, when you buy the little steak or ground meat, whatever it is, unless it's grass fed, antibiotic free, estrogen free, the average now commercial meat, they pump it up with estrogens because they want to be sure that the water retention will make more profit. But more important, that's just the last aspect, for the people that they don't really care about much about just the profit. But there is a point behind, even more darker agenda. The estrogen will create change in you.
Really?
As I said, if
You
you
think that could do it?
this one, I don't know. I'd like to see more. But the point is, why should I eat something that is glued together with something that I can just have straight from nature?
Yeah, right.
I rather to have a boiled egg than have something that I have the more protein from one boiled egg than have something from the bunch of supposed to be mix of, I don't know, peas and stuff like that.
What do you think of shiitake mycelia?
I have no idea what it is.
Methylcellulose, it's all
Yeah,
strange.
sound like by the way, a pharmacy there, some sort of a lot of chemical stuff. So that's what I'm saying. So that's the agenda. This is what they're trying to do to us. And let me finish up. I'm going to give you this microphone, one more minute, whatever you want to say, finish it up.
Can I go grab a book out of my car? I wanted to share this with people.
All right, go ahead. Go hurry up. We have 10 more minutes here. I have another friend here. Bob is around in case he wants to come around. Doesn't now he's busy on the phone. That's fine. Maybe next time. If you want to say hi, you can come, Bob. Whatever you want to say, you're more than welcome. If you're busy talking on the phone, don't worry about it. The point here, this is also your show. Whatever you want to say, guys, you're more than welcome. As I said, even when he goes on the air, I always had on my show complete freedom of speech. I just ask always to have a language that when we broadcast, it's going to be FCC compliance. That's it. Now, if you want to send us some questions, something that would you like to maybe me reading on the air, you can go to our website, www.socialcontactclub.com. Shoot an email. If you try to just insult me or, you don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not even bothering to answer, okay? If you have some suggestive, suggestions, positive or constructive criticism, I'm all for it. Please shoot it out. I'll be happy. Especially if you say, look, you were wrong there. Let me check it out. If I'm wrong, I'm the first one to say thank you very much for pointing it out. I appreciate it. Okay, here our friend brother Ian brought a bunch of beautiful books, almost putting it on the table like we are ready to open a farmer's market. Tell me, Ian, what's going on?
Okay, today I went to the swap meet here in Kingman, and I was looking at the books that were randomly placed in somebody's stand, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a book called The Blade Runner, and it was basically it's not Blade Runner, but it's The Blade Runner, and it was originally, I think, written in 1973, and it said at the top of it's a paperback. It said health control laws, mandatory sterilizations,
What?
computer directed robot surgeons, all part of a 21st century world that is immunizing its way to disaster.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
And in the back it said Billy Gimp was the Blade Runner, one of the shadowy procurers of illegal medical supplies for the rapidly expanding nightmare world of the medical black market. Doc was a skilled surgeon at a government operated hospital by day and an underground physician by night, providing health care for the multitudes who could not or would not qualify for legal medical assistance. Trapped by health control police, Billy Gimp knew he had to warn Doc that they were closing in on him. But something even more deadly than the law had already made its first move, a new plague that health control could not handle. It sounds like what we're going through right now, Luca.
Oh my God, give me 1 second. This is amazing. I mean, seriously, this is a collectible. This is wow. This is like a time machine. 1973. We're talking about 2021, and all the things that we know now they are real. Like this control medical healthcare controlled by the government, and of course the 74 doesn't matter. This is like wow. They say the thing you just said, the sterilization, the vaccination. I mean, I can't believe that somebody had the knowledge without the internet. At the time, they didn't have internet like now to put all these facts together. And I mean, there was another movie that I was really fascinated, but not as detailed as this one. I don't know if you ever watched the movie called Logan's Escape.
Yeah, Logan's Run. Logan's Run. Yeah.
Logan's Run. I watched the first time when I was a kid in Italy, and was kind of fascinating. Of course, it was a sci-fi movie, and then I watched it again about 15 years ago, and you see exactly the type of predictions they were trying to make about the new world order society. You know, where you have a society that the government pretty much regulates everything, every aspect of your life. The moment that you're born, and all the way you're gonna die, and you will die before your time, because after all, when you're old, you're useless, and they don't want you anymore. So it's amazing. I'm very I can't believe the timing. It wasn't an accident that you found this book, Ian. You know that.
I don't think it was an accident. It's just another example of predictive programming that they put out in their movies, that they in the books and the literature, everything. They plan things out they plan things out 50 to 100 years in advance. So basically what we've basically stumbled upon is something that's absolutely, right before our eyes, and we're basically just figuring about it now when we should have been aware of this 50 years ago. I was always researching Jordan Maxwell, and he's a researcher, and he was researching this stuff about the Illuminati back in the 60s and 70s. And there's a lot of different things out there that people weren't aware of. Like there was something called the Illuminati CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, written.
Oh, by the way, the CFR is not even a conspiracy. Council of Foreign Relations. You know, you can see exactly the address. Go online and Google it on the yellow pages, and it's they've been laughing at us all these years. It is true. I mean, you have the Council for Relations. We have people talking about it. Also, how much powerful it is, this organization. And former senator, late senator, excuse me, um, Arizona senator, help me out. Barry Goldwater. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. He wrote a book, of course, with no apology, and he mentioned the Foreign Council for Relations and this international organization that was created with the purpose to destroy American sovereignty. And you have all these politicians. You know, you have a former politicians like late Senator McCain and generals and people that they are part of the really the elite of the society. They were all part, and they're all part of this CFR, and more important, media. They love media because through media they can control. Of course, David Rockefeller, that was probably the founder of this organization. He also spoke in a public speech, excuse me, about how thankful he was all these very important media at the time, that thankful they discretion at the time, not mentioning about this plan of this global government. They were able to continue this planning and this kind of, let's really hidden secret agenda that now is on the open. So we are right now 2021, and this is all out. We are facing it in our face now with Biden as puppet president. They will unleash everything they have to do to close the circle around us. America, it is, or at least it was, the last country standing still against all the globalist agenda because the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence gave us a foundation that no other country ever had.
Yeah,
And
well, it's kind of strange for that to happen the way it did because being in the army, I was told and I was aware that we have bases almost everywhere. So for this to be coming about right now, where they're totally, the tables are turning that drastically, it's very kind of almost like they choreographed it to be that way because the people in China aren't wealthy. I mean, they're controlled. They're not living that good. So the government, and we have people all over the world watching governments and putting in people and deposing people. So you think, Jordan Maxwell, and I've always researched him, he would always say the government gets what the government wants. So if they wanted to have one thing, they would get it. And if they wanted another thing, they could have that too. Um, Basically, I don't know how to figure it out, but it is a big puzzle we're dealing with in these little books and movies that we have that they leave their little clues in. It's one way to try to figure out, what's going to happen in the future because we already have seen some patterns and little foreshadowings of what happened a long time ago, not so long ago, but a couple decades ago. So if we start looking into their literature that's now, we can probably try to see what's going on in the future.
you're right. And one thing I want to add, though, till there is life, there is hope. And at the end, the moment that we wake up as humanity, it's billions of us. Let's not forget what happened to tyrants. They may have it for a while. They may also perpetrate a lot of evil between. But at the end, they will all perish. I mean, sometimes, of course, we want to be sure that we don't replace evil with another evil. I mean, look at in French during the French Revolution wasn't about like the American Revolution. It was unfortunately bloody form of control, even that controlled by the Illuminati, by the way. But the point is still every tyrant.
Under the reign of terror.
Yes, under the reign of terror, you're very. I can't believe it. Ian knows a lot of stuff. It's a great guy. Anyway, so but the point is, yes, eventually we'll throw him out. May not happen this generation. We're gonna take it back. The seed of freedom, it will become a tree again. And it's our job now to share this information. I don't want to use the word educate. I'm not a professor, I'm not a teacher, but share information like you're doing. Try to be sure that the first weapon we have it's education. Second must be followed by action. You cannot keep this information for yourself. You need to share at least with another two, three, four, five people. And then at that point, we're going to have a critical mass. And then at that point, we can just stand up. And I really mean it, standing up just physically. We can go and surround, even in a peaceful way, a building. People can fill up a stadium Sunday with 50,000 people eating, popcorn and looking at a bunch of overpriced monkeys, playing ball or whatever. Guess what? We can go there to our console, excuse me, to our capitals. We can go to our, our office of our congressman, and we can stand up and we can make a change right there.
Well, a lot of people that you know don't realize this, but a lot of the sports that we have in this country are really actually very barbaric. I mean, football. A lot of the Chicago Bears, when I was growing up, a lot of them have concussion syndrome.
We will talk about that next time about sports and things like that if you want. Right now, I need to let you go, Ian, and I want to just say one thing. First of all, thank you very much for listening, and go back to www.socialcontactclub.com. We will put there our past broadcast and webcast, and also you can listen to us on the air on 1340 AM and 104.1 FM K Talks. And all I want to say is this: it's been an honor being all these years on the air, and I just hope I can be around the next few. And let's put it this way: one day at a time, we will continue the mission. The mission is to stand up for freedom. Webcasting live from the Social Contact Club, the Temple of Freedom. Luca Zanna. It's off now. Ciao.